Okay, so this is breaking news. So you and the FBI and perhaps other intelligence agencies are fully aware of this coordinated effort to attack federal law enforcement, to impede them and potentially insurrect. And so there is now an open investigation into these chats and into this coordinated network.
Yeah,
Because
what I can say is,
some of them are
sorry.
fleeing. Some of them are very scared now. You can see their chats. They're very, very worried now that they have been.
All right, this is breaking. And yeah, I know some people are already mad just reading the title, but no, it's accurate. Tim Walz caved. And he didn't cave because he suddenly found common sense or developed a conscience. He caved because the walls started closing in. Now, before anyone screams conspiracy, let me ask you a very simple question. If everything was fine, if there was nothing to hide, why is everyone suddenly desperate to cooperate with ICE? Yeah, that's what I thought. Let's get into the real story behind Signalgate and the collapse of the Minnesota resistance. Here's where things get really uncomfortable for certain people. Leaked signal chats, private coordination, and names you're not supposed to see there, including, allegedly, state-level officials. But it didn't just stay in the chats. We saw it manifest on the streets with the hostile takeover of a hotel in Minneapolis. Think about the scale of this. While Governor Walz was busy saying he's proud of Minnesotans, radical groups were literally seizing property. And thanks to these leaked chats, we now know how they were so organized. If these activists have access to license plate databases, real-time ICE movements, and the coordinates of journalists' vehicles, then someone inside the government was feeding them. You don't just stumble into a police database while sitting in a hotel lobby. So here's my dumb question of the day. Do protesters usually come equipped with law enforcement databases and the logistics to seize hotels? Or is that a new progressive feature? Let me know in the comments, because apparently I missed the update where peaceful protesting included state-sponsored insurgency tactics. So this is what Trump says. He makes the announcement. Governor Tim Walz called me to request that we work together. Isn't that crazy? After all the rhetoric, all the crazy Gestapo, Trump is Hitler talk, the kind of language that got people out in the streets going wild, and now he's calling Trump? Oh man. Okay, here we go. Let's keep reading. He says he wants to work together with respect to Minnesota. It was a very good call, and we actually seem to be on a similar wavelength. I told Governor Walz that I would have Tom Homan call him, and that we would be looking for any and all criminals they have in their possession, which is what should have been done from the very beginning. The governor very respectfully understood that, and I will be speaking to him again in the near future. He was happy that Tom Homan was going to Minnesota, and so am I. We have had tremendous success in Washington, D.C., Memphis, Tennessee, New Orleans, Louisiana, and virtually every other place we have operated. And even in Minnesota, crime is way down. But both Governor Walz and I want to make it even better.
This is domestic terrorism, and it's operating as a low-intensity insurgency. We've been watching this and just kind of astounded how there's always these people blowing the whistles wherever ICE is, and they have different undercover vehicles. They try and keep a low profile, and for some reason they keep getting spotted. But James O'Keefe was just up there in Minneapolis and had his life directly threatened. He got a text from a number said, "We know you're in X car with this license plate from Florida. If you don't leave within an hour, you're dead." That is insane. That is not only terrorism, but it's showcasing that they have access to license plate identification. They have access to people's cell phones. They have operatives within the police departments or the state government that are providing them with this private secure data. And that shows that this is a top-down insurgency operation. And we saw yesterday, it was all over X, some great accounts, 0 Hour and Cam Higbee showed the signal chats, right? And so you've got 1,000 people in these chats every day. They have organized emojis to mean certain symbols. They have protocols, they have training manuals, and then they also have financing documents. And there's a great tweet from, I think, Data Republican showing that there's actually foreign funding from Canada, a guy named Unchuffed, his organization in Canada. So this has foreign funding. This has state level involvement. The lieutenant governor was found in there. Multiple state representatives and city councilors were found in those signal chats. That is sedition, Steve. If this stuff is leading to violence, to people's deaths, that's insurrection, that's sedition, that's felony murder, that's conspiracy. There is a whole host of charges that members of Tim Walz's staff and campaign staff are involved with. And it is no surprise that they're doing this once their fraud machine was found. It's a pure diversion play, and President Trump has to stay on the offense and take this down, because if he doesn't, and I think he will, but if he doesn't, it will spread to other cities.
So here's the big development. Kash Patel, the director of the FBI, has confirmed that there are full investigations underway into these left-wing signal chats in Minnesota. And if anyone is involved, they should absolutely be worried. Because this goes way beyond immigration. This goes way beyond just Trump versus Walz. This is about what is really happening on the ground in Minnesota and what kind of movement is actually forming there. Like I've told you guys before, this is an ideological battle that's been building since 2016. For real. You've got people who, in my opinion, have been completely radicalized. People who don't just want immigration reform, they want no borders at all, no enforcement, no country. A lot of them are pushing Marxist ideas, and honestly, some of the rhetoric goes even further than that, almost Bolshevik-style revolutionary talk. And many of those people have attached themselves to the modern Democrat Party. Now think about that. Depending on your age, you probably remember what the Democrat Party used to look like. It feels totally unrecognizable today. You've got this Antifa-style, America-hating ideology spreading, and to be fair, some of it comes from real frustration. Let's be honest about that. A lot of people can't afford life right now. Prices are up. The dollar feels weaker. People are struggling. We spent 20 years in Afghanistan. There's a lot of anger built up. So yeah, some of those frustrations are understandable. But instead of channeling that frustration into fixing things, some people are turning it into straight-up hatred for the country. And here's the irony. You've got immigrants, people who came here legally, who worked for it, loving this country more than some of these so-called progressives. That's why you see so many ICE agents who are Hispanic Americans. Trump even mentioned it. Many of them are first, second, or third generation Americans. They're proud to be here. They believe in the system. They want law and order. Meanwhile, you've got lifelong Americans acting like they hate everything about the country. So all of this is mixing together. The ideology, the anger, the protests, the leaks, the organizing. And I think Tim Walz saw the writing on the wall. He saw how far things were going. He saw how out of control it was getting. First, it's Trump is Hitler, Trump is fascist, Trump is kidnapping people, all this extreme rhetoric. And then where does he end up? Calling Trump, asking to work together, agreeing to hand over criminals. That's the landing spot. So what was all that in the middle for? Why whip people up into a frenzy just to end up doing what should have been done from day one? That's the part that blows my mind. After all the chaos, after people getting hurt, after all that talk, you suddenly want cooperation? I don't know, man. That's wild to me. Maybe I'm ranting a little, but I know a lot of you probably feel the same way. And if you don't, that's fine too. Hit the dislike button if you want. But now, let's get into it. Because Director Kash Patel just made a huge announcement. Let's take a listen.
Okay, so this is breaking news. So you and the FBI and perhaps other intelligence agencies are fully aware of this coordinated effort to attack federal law enforcement, to impede them and potentially insurrect. And so there is now an open investigation into these chats and into this coordinated network.
Yeah, what I can say is,
some of them are fleeing. Some of them are very scared now. You can see their chats. They're very, very worried now that they have been exposed.
well, they should be. If they broke the law, you should be worried. It's that simple. If you didn't break the law, there's really nothing to worry about on that front. And so, we're going to continue, as I've said from day one, we will protect law enforcement. We will make sure they have the security and safety to do their jobs. We will also ensure that civilians have the ultimate protection of the First and Second Amendment. But it is my job to adjudicate the difference when there is a breaking of federal statute or state law in the furtherance of a crime.
So again, what does all of this really come down to? Before we move on to the next segment and the next update, let me play this clip. This is Minneapolis. And once again, when you strip away all the noise, all the drama, all the politics, what does it actually come down to? It comes down to one simple thing. The fraud was real. That's it. The fraud was real. And in the end, they should have just cooperated with ICE from the very beginning. And that's not coming from critics. That's coming from the top, from the governor himself. And now you've even got the mayor of Minneapolis saying the same thing. So after everything, after all the resistance and all the chaos, they're basically admitting what should have been done from day one.
So the fraud is real.
Mhm.
The fraud that took place here is very real. And when you commit fraud, you get investigated, you get charged, you get prosecuted, you get arrested, and you go to jail. As an individual, you go to jail as an individual. The whole community, however, that you are part of and the whole city that you live in is not held responsible. The whole state you live in is not held responsible. That's the way things work in Minnesota. That's the way things work in the United States of America, because everybody has due process and habeas corpus rights.
So let's recap, slowly, so nobody gets lost. Signal chats exposed coordination. Investigations opened. Rhetoric stopped working. Walz called Trump. Cooperation magically became reasonable. That's not leadership. That's damage control. So I'll leave you with this. Drop this in the comments. Did Tim Walz change his values or just his strategy? If ICE cooperation is fine now, why wasn't it before? Are investigations the real reason the tone changed? And be honest, does this feel like accountability or panic? Let me know, because something tells me the comment section is about to be very educational.